Welcome, everyone, to Bush's Chicken for the first Lion Nation podcast of the 2019 season. Let's get a round of applause for our host, Bush's, tonight. Always love coming here. They also help out with concession, and we really thank you, Bush's, for all you do for Leander football. We also want to mention our other business sponsors, starting with our bronze sponsors. That includes Buttercup Dental, HEB Plus there in Leander, Tillman Physical Therapy, Bill Miller Barbecue, and Pendleton Orthodontics. At the silver level, Wingstop, and our platinum sponsors, Good Flow Plumbing and 9 Round Fitness. We want to send a big thank you to those folks as well. It costs a lot of money to run a football program, and the taxes only go so far. So any support you can provide those businesses would be greatly appreciated as they support your Lions. One last thing, we want to give a shout-out to SHN Sports. They're our broadcast partner. They are starting a new highlight show this year. It's going to be a 6-hour show that runs from 6 p.m. to midnight. Make sure that if you take any footage at any game in the area, that you hashtag that footage SHN Football Friday, and it'll end up on the highlight show. So make sure that you get that information and you hashtag it. And so we're here with Coach Price. Coach Price, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Gary, how about yourself? How are you?
I'm ready, man.
You're ready?
Ready.
Well, we've had one scrimmage that we got to see a little bit of what we can look forward to. Let's talk about your take on what happened on Friday night against the Eastview. What, the Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought our kids did a great job. We've gotten to install a lot of new things this fall camp, and obviously offensively, we're kind of starting over in that respect with what we're installing and the plays we're running, those kind of things. And I thought they did a great job of just adapting and learning. We did a lot of prep to get ready for our first game, and in the scrimmage we really just wanted to focus on seeing how our kids played with effort and their attitude and demeanor. And so from that perspective, we're very excited about what they did, and there's always going to be things you want to clean up and get better at as you go along. And we have those things, and today we had an opportunity to fix quite a bit of that, and I thought the kids responded well. I was really, really just proud of what they did.
Well, and I noticed, especially on the defensive side of the ball, there were a lot of different combinations of players going in, either, on the line, at the linebackers, in the secondary. It was almost like you're just trying to see who works best together. Talk about, and this was all in the running clock period, not the actual time period.
Sure, in the controlled scrimmage,
right.
We really did. We kind of talked a little bit in the spring about needing to play the kids both ways, and we wanted to give them an opportunity in a game situation to see what it was going to be like. We probably won't have the number of rotations that we had on Friday, but we certainly need to get them exposed to that. And, kids went in and played their guts out at new positions, and I think at the end of the day, a lot of them have fun doing things that they didn't normally do.
Well, and I think we really looked very good in the actual control, the last period, the
Sure.
15-minute actual time period. We looked really good there, both offensively and defensively. There's obviously going to be some rust offensively with a change, and we have one of our quarterbacks. Well, really both of the quarterbacks didn't play quarterback last year. So, they got to shake off a year of rust as well.
Sure, absolutely. And those guys, have tough jobs. It's not an easy thing to play quarterback, and it's certainly not easy to learn something completely new. And so I thought they did a great job of managing the operation of our offense and getting kids in the right spot. Even though it's new to them, they were still able to help some of our other guys, and they executed well. We had a couple of turnovers, but they were things that, as soon as it happened, they came right back and said, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done that. So they are processing the information like they should. They understand what they should do. And more importantly, they're learning and only going to get better. So
we had some big highlights, and I think, we had a pretty good rushing attack last season. We really didn't have a passing attack to speak of. But we have a couple of pretty good running backs, and they showed out on Friday. Talk about those guys.
Well, both Xavier Dotson, Brandon Hanson, and the list is actually longer than that. We have Bryce Allen and Philip Henry that have contributed at that position. So we have a few guys, and we have guys on defense that can run the ball, Evan Smith, Dyron Dixon. There are a lot of guys that can play that position. So it's really going to give us a lot of flexibility to get in different formations, use multiple backs, and hopefully, in that running game, help create some passing offense out of that. I mean, we have some talent in that spot, especially.
Well, and when you're going into district play, as you're coming in, we have 2 non-district games heading into the games that really count. Teams, from what I've heard, have been trying to figure out what kind of defenses you're known for by reaching out to past employers. But you're going to coach to your talent, and so talk about that a little bit.
Defensively, I think we have a kind of a standard set of kids. We have a bunch of kids that are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", somewhere between 170 and 185. And what we're doing defensively is to maximize what we have. So we don't have a bunch of super big kids, so we're not going to play a 4-man down. Because we don't necessarily have the bodies for that, but we have a lot of kids kind of at that standard size that are very athletic, can move around a little bit. So we're going to use that to try to create some different pass rush situations and some run blitzes and let them just run and play fast.
We can create a lot of disruption of offenses, and especially early in the season before teams have really formed their offensive mindset and abilities. So, if you're able to get to people defensively with schemes and guys of that size and speed, I look forward to that. We spent a lot of time in base defenses over the last couple of years, and the times that we gambled, it seems to have paid off, and I hope we get to do that this year.
Yeah, we're going to try to gamble a little bit and try to create some of our own fortune, get the offense the ball back a little bit more, because I think we're going to be explosive on offense, and we just got to give them opportunities.
Well, and you got to keep the defense rested, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's something we've seen, over the years with playing teams like Pflugerville, for instance. They have always come in with big offensive line, and the undersized defense of Leander has always brought it to them, and they were pretty tired by the end of the game. So they knew the little guys got the best of them in some of those matchups, and it was pretty impressive to see the fight that these Leander kids have.
Absolutely. We're going to use our kids in the same way. If they outweigh us, we're not going to stay in the same spot for long. We're going to use our athleticism to try to get around them and make some plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's a little bit of offense from you, Coach, a little bit of defense. Now, one of the areas that you didn't see as much in the scrimmage, vitally important to football, is special teams. Talk about our special teams a little bit and what we can expect.
Special teams is going to be as unique as we need it to be. I think there's going to be some opportunities to maintain possessions and take possessions away from teams by creating pressure and punt block and extra point block and those things. And then when we get to our kickoff, we're not going to be afraid to onside kick it to try to create an extra possession. We're not going to be afraid to fake a punt every now and then to try to create an extra possession. So we know that there are a couple of different things in special teams that can give us an advantage, especially a lot of teams are not going to prepare as hard special teams wise, so we're going to try to take as much advantage of that as we can.
Well, it is a vitally important part of the game. If you're not ready, then it could cost you.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like since you've been here in the spring, kind of implementing the processes, getting hooked up with the new coaches, how's all that going with your game plan? Are you right on target coming into week 1, or is that a moving target?
No, the coaching staff, we had a group that was here before, and then we brought in a few new coaches, and just watching those guys kind of come together and mesh to try to create whatever we need for these kids has been really special to watch. They've done a great job of coming up with great game plans offensively, great game plans defensively, and the way they're structuring and running practice. All of it's really different. I mean, we're not practicing in the morning anymore. We're doing things in the afternoon. So there's a lot of, time and thought that you have to put into it to make sure it's going to work out for the kids. So that part is kind of a moving target. If we see something that, is not going to help us with our kids, then we're going to adjust and change. But they're just doing a good job to make sure that we are putting the best things in front of our kids that we can.
So offense, defense, special teams, there's still more to your job because obviously you're the campus athletic coordinator as well. And I'm just going to focus on football here. We're not going to talk about any of the other coordination that you may have to do. But how do you deal with things like the heat index and practices like we've had lately? Talk about how you monitor that and how there's a whole lot more than just X's and O's for you.
Well, to add to the new coaching staff, we have 2 new trainers that are coming in to Leander High School, and both of them have done an amazing job to make sure that our kids are safe and protected. And so, you know, the heat obviously is the big thing with practicing in the middle of the day. And our trainers have come in when it even gets close and sit down and they have a plan on how we're going to make sure that kids have enough water, that they have water at their segments and those things, and they're using their student trainers to make sure that our kids have everything that they need. So they've done a great job with that. For us as coaches, we just have to recognize the, you know, potential dangers that we have with things like the heat and make smart decisions to make sure that the kids are taken care of. You know, we may not go full pads if the heat index is 108. I think it was close to that today.
It's been pretty hot.
And so we break it down, and, you know, that's part of the learning process for the kids. There's a different way to practice when you're in full pads versus shells, and so they're getting used to that. We're getting used to the heat. I'm getting used to the heat.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it, but as long as each individual group is getting in and working together, we've been able to come up with a good plan for the kids.
What an interesting concept. Don't you wish we had that back in our day?
Yeah. Take the salt tablet.
Water was a weakness.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, and then on top of all of that, you know, you're managing a budget, one that comes through the district, and then you have to deal with a bunch of egos on the booster club, like David Maiden and myself. So,
And Chuck.
how does that go over?
I don't know, Mr. Maiden. He asked me for a headset today, so he wants to wear the headset on the sideline. I'm not sure it's going well right now. But no,
Just make sure that the mic is turned off and then everything's okay.
No, they're doing a great job for us. You know, they're jumping out in front to try to make sure that volunteers are in place to help us in situations like the concession stand and those things. And they're out beating the drum to try to raise funds for the kids. And, you know, so far anything that I've asked for to try to make our job a little bit easier, they've jumped out and gotten it done for me. So our booster club is spot on in terms of helping us out, and I'm really excited about the group that's there. They do a great job.
And anybody who wants to help, you know, the booster club is here for you to come help. And, you know, if you want to be an officer next year, maybe there's something you didn't like the way it was run this year, run for one of those offices and get involved. We want you to be involved.
And how do you go about volunteering for some of that?
You go to the website. It's leanderlinesfootball.com. Okay. So click on the volunteer part there. I believe there's a link directly. So tonight we're going to interview the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then a couple of seniors. Do you have anything you want to say about those coordinators before we bring them up, Coach?
Coach Thompson and Coach Lopez have, like I said, have done a great job with the first couple of weeks of this season, and I'm looking forward to working with them for the duration of this season and beyond. Coach Lopez, I have a little bit more background with him. He was with me at Bernie High School, so we know each other from the past, and we've been in touch. He's had a stint coaching college, and so he was away from high school ball for a while. But coming back in, he's jumped right in and really kind of been like a part of the Leander way. Yeah. And then Coach Thomason has really helped me out a lot since I've been here in the spring. You know, he's been able to teach me some things that I didn't know in terms of how the program has run and things that we can keep and things that we can improve on. And he's done a great job adapting the offense to kind of what we need for the kids right now.
Yep. To add to that, some of that knowledge with the culture that you walked into here at Leander, what have you changed or added to the culture here for Leander football?
You know, we're about trying to build a really true family atmosphere with our kids. We're focused on. Our focus today was just understanding how peers should interact with each other and understanding that, you know, just because one of your friends tells you that you did something wrong doesn't mean he's not your friend anymore.
Right.
He just is trying to help you stay on the right path. And, you know, I've said this from the start, and I believe this firmly, that the kids here have done an amazing job with all of the transition that takes place. I've seen situations that don't go as well as it's gone here. They've really done a great job of adapting to some new things and really fighting for the things that they believe in, and that's part of the reason why I think we're going to be successful.
Well, I think that comes with good leadership because you guys have came in, taken new positions as well, and handled your own adversity. So
Sure.
Well, and the staff didn't initially change, but then it shook up a little bit, and I think you've made good key acquisitions to solidify a pretty good team of coaches.
Well, I appreciate that. And
So let's talk to one of them real quick. I'll let you off the hook, and you can go get some dinner, Coach, and we'll let Coach Lopez come up here
All right.
first.
yeah, he's been waiting.
Yeah, we already talked to Coach Thompson last year, but we look forward to it again, though.
Hey, you can just set it down.
It'll stretch out a little bit. Have a seat, Coach. Yeah, we're not real serious here. It's just some dads who started putting together a coach's show and a broadcast. The idea, and we met Rob. I mean, I don't see him now, but he's probably out there in the audience. But he really is focused on promoting the kids and the program, and we've kind of liked that, and we jumped on board, and we've been doing it for a few years, and so we want to welcome you to the Lion Nation family. And let's talk a little bit about you, though. Okay, so where did you go to high school? Where did you graduate college? Talk a little bit about your distant past.
Well, first, thank you for having me on here, and
Sure.
thanks for welcoming me into the Lion family, because I'm really excited about being a part of the Leander community. And so that's something I'm super absorbed in right now, is learning the Leander way, and kind of you say we were just a couple of dads getting this started, but parent support and community support is always key foundation for any program.
Definitely.
So I appreciate that, and I'm so glad to be a part of that too.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
my story is a little different as far as the path that I've come through. But I'm originally from the Valley. I'm from Brownsville, Texas.
Okay.
I went to Hannah High School, played linebacker and running back down there, and then after I was always a kid that my mom was at the time a principal, and my dad was a former Marine, then small business owner, and then got into education as well. And so I very much grew up with a structure and discipline, and I played football, basketball, baseball, but I was also on the chess team. I was on the debate team, and so stuff like that. And they were very much geared towards the whole student athlete kind of picture.
The total experience.
Yeah, and so that's something that I try to bring with my student athletes, is kind of push them to try something different, be cerebral players, and so. But after high school, I went on to Baylor University, and so I had a chance to play there. Unfortunately, I was not in the highlight reels on ESPN, but it was still a great learning experience nonetheless. And so played my college ball there. After there, I moved out to El Paso, and while I was going to graduate school for my first master's degree, I started teaching and coaching at Franklin High School. So it's a 6A school down there. I coached there for about 3 years, had good playoff run experiences there, and I graduated initially with a master's in intelligence and national security. So,
Nice.
I thought that was something I really wanted to do. I did a little internship here and there, but during that time, I started teaching and coaching because, my mom kind of recommended it, just said, hey, just give it a try. And I guess within 3 months, turned
You're
into now
hooked.
12 years, so it just kind of happens like that. But I really loved it, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. And so from there, I wanted to get back to Central Texas, and I went out to Bernie High School, was where I linked up with Coach Price, and so was part of a new staff there, and we were very fortunate to kind of get that defense running and make the playoffs there in our first year. So it's something that we kind of build on from that. I shared good experiences, stayed in touch, moved out to LaPorte High School. Got a chance to work out in Southeast Houston area.
Right.
Got a chance to really work with some high-level recruits.
Some
had
big
coach
programs there.
Yeah, I coached like the number 3 outside linebacker in the entire nation. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, that wasn't me. I wasn't the number 3. But the point is, my history there is going from a border town to a small town now to urban school. So I really feel like working with those different type of athletes really force you as a coach to build that toolbox, and so that's something that I did, and I had a chance to go to the college levels at the University of Louisiana Monroe as a linebacker, as a special teams graduate assistant. Then I was at Millsaps College as a linebackers coach, as a Division III school in Jackson, Mississippi. Then after that, I was the linebackers coach at Seton Hill University, which is a D2 right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And so I did college for about 4.5 years. I really liked it, but I'm a Texas guy. All my family's in Texas. I love my family, and I knew I wanted to get back. And so with that, had the chance to transition someone that I knew used to work at TCU, and he had a friend that also worked at TCU with him who was the head coach at Reagan High School, Austin Reagan High School. I was there, so when I came back to Texas, I was at Reagan High School for the last 2 years where I was a defensive coordinator. And then when Coach Price took over here and had the opportunity, then it was a no-brainer to be a part of him and be a part of Leander High School.
Well, we're real excited about this process here, and the Lions have had a couple of rough years, and when you start a season with the excitement that we've started this year, you can tell that it has the potential to be a really special year. Now, we have a whole group of seniors this year. They're new to you. You're mainly dealing with the guys on defense, but because guys are going to be potentially playing both ways, you're getting to experience a lot of them. Talk about that group of guys in your short time that you've been here. The guys on defense. Anybody that sticks out to you, either personality-wise, work ethic-wise, or just goofiness-wise?
Well, I'll tell you what. I as a defensive coordinator, you always walk in, on your first day, and you kind of want to take a look at the kids. And some coaches, they're looking at who's my biggest kid,
right?
Who's my fastest kid, who's got the best feet. Well, really, what I look for when I talk to a kid is I want to know who wants to compete the most, right? Who's not afraid to be physical, right? Who's willing to say, it don't matter what happened last year, it's what I can do this year. And so that's what I tell my players all the time. I don't, and I really truly mean this, when I go out to coach my kids, I start off with just my position group. Although I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm also the free safeties coach. But I tell them my goal today is to be the best free safety in the greater Austin area. Then, if I can do that, then
right.
When I go to the defense, we can make the best defense in the greater Austin area, and then go from there. And then I can be the best free safety group in the state of Texas. And if you can get your kids to have that kind of identity and philosophy, then it's going to permeate. You don't tell the kids, my goal is to go 10-0, at least not me, right? My goal is to shut out every game. Do I love that? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
But the point is, if I get the kids operating at that certain level and then believing it, digesting it, then I think that that really gets them going the right way. And as far as kids I came in and I see a lot of kids that have that heart and that have that drive. They want to be successful. They want to make plays. And so we have a senior senior-led linebacker crew that I'm really excited about. I mean, these guys are amped, athletic, physical. Right now, I think that's one of our strongest areas. We have another player, Dre, who wasn't a backer, but now he's moving to like a strong safety type role for us. Leadership, strength, willing to step up to the plate and not back down. We have Ray, who's a free safety, who's returning with some experience, but also still willing to compete versus anybody. And right now, we have another 6-7 guys that we can rotate in, that I know that when I or Coach Price calls their name, they're going to do what it takes. They're going to
give it their all.
And they're going to give it their all. And so, and like I said, we win one play at a time, and we'll just kind of go from there.
During the controlled scrimmage part of the scrimmage on Friday against Eastview, when it was during the 15-minute period at the end, I think our defense just was lights out during them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and as we sat down and watched the film, you can see the defense progress. And so with the defense, it was the first time running our defense. Mm-hmm. It's the first time playing together as that unit. And so the first plays are always going to be a little shaky just because it's like a feel. It's like a new tennis shoe. Like I tell the kids, right, when you buy those awesome brand new shoes that you just spent $200 on, are they going to feel comfortable the first time you wear them? No. But the second time you do, you're going to feel good and you're going to move good. Right. And that's what the defense is going to do. And so that my goal is that as long as we keep moving forward, as long as we keep getting more reps together, then we're going to be hopefully improving every single game.
Well, when there was a breakdown, at least from what I can tell, and you would know better than I, but it looked like it was fixable stuff. Like a kid out of position or not set at the time of the snap, that had he been set in his position, it would have been fine.
Yeah, and so the one thing that I really kind of try to judge things as a coordinator is whenever there's a bust or maybe a big play, when that kid comes off the sideline, right, because when the coach is going to talk to him, I'm going to talk to him, head coach is going to talk to him, maybe the position coach is going to talk to him. If that kid is looking at us with stars in their eyes and they have no idea what just happened, then I know there's a problem.
Right.
But if the kid comes up to us and says, Coach, dang it, I knew exactly what I had, I took the wrong step, or I heard the call late, then you know that we're going to be all right because he's not going to make that same mistake again. And so I felt that some of the mistakes that we did have, like you said, the kids, they came off and they said, Coach, I know what I did wrong. Let's work on getting that better the next time. And so they were trying to actively correct themselves before the coaches could correct them, and they were locked in, meaning that they're growing and becoming, like I said, those cerebral, aggressive players that we want.
You got to like that they're already working on what they did wrong before they even come across a coach.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
And some of that comes from those senior leaders. You mentioned the linebackers. We're going to talk to one of them tonight, Evan Smith.
Yep.
We'll get him after Coach Thomas, and we'll worry about that later. But so you went to Baylor. Which head coach did you play for? Not to date yourself too much.
Coach Guy Morris.
Okay.
Yeah, he came right after Kentucky, and
right.
And so he was there.
Hey, they were pretty good offense.
Yeah, and so I like to tell a joke. I said, his first day was my first day, and his last day was my last day. So that's kind of how it worked out. But we had a chance with him to be our head coach, and we were very fortunate to also have some experienced coaches, which I got a chance to learn under, and and meet some valuable people.
Well, I was born in Waco, so I grew up. My dad's a huge Baylor fan, so
right.
I probably even saw you standing on the sidelines or playing. Who knows? But that's the time I remember Baylor's probably before your time, though, with the Mike Singletary and Mike Abercrombie.
We're the same people.
Oh, yeah.
We're basically like, you could sub us in there.
Just as good,
you would
right?
not be able to tell.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Coach?
No, I mean, I guess with you coming in under Coach Price and you guys have worked together, obviously you were brought here for a reason. Y'all have some similarities in concept and play. Give us some of those examples that of what you guys share in nature of the concept of the game.
Well, and that's true. Like, obviously I wouldn't be here if we didn't have the same defensive philosophy. And so one of the things that we even talked about, we spent Saturday game plan talking about defense, and, that's one of the luxuries of having a defensive-minded head coach. We're running his system that he's bringing from Keller, and I'm using my experience to kind of help mesh and implement that together. But can we keep the defensive scheme something simple where the kids can move fast and learn? One, right? Two, can the scheme be something that gives our kids a chance to be competitive, as opposed to saying, this is what I just believe is the best defensive scheme.
Right.
So, because that's the thing with defensive coaches more than offensive coaches, I think sometimes you get stuck and you say, I think this is the best scheme.
Less flexible.
I want Nick Saban runs it. I'm going to run it too, right? We can't do that.
Ryan's 46.
Right? Let me call Bill Parcells. No, right? Nobody plays that defense if it doesn't work for your kids.
Right.
And I think that's something we're both also on the same page of. And we're constantly talking about what kid fits where, and what calls or adjustments are we looking forward to for this week's preparation that best utilize our kids' strengths.
I really love that flexibility.
Yeah, me too.
It's really easy to be an armchair quarterback sitting in the press box, either on the mic or not. Mm-hmm. But I like the flexibility of moving kids from position to position to see, let's put him in that situation and see how he does at running back, or let's see how he does in a game situation at tight end or offensive tackle or, whatever. And I like that flexibility. And, we've seen some guys get cemented in positions that probably weren't their best positions for them over the last couple of years. And so I look forward to seeing that flexibility with the guys offensively and defensively. So
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll bring up Coach Thomason next.
Okay.
Coach Lopez, it was great to talk to you.
Thank you very much for your
Looking
time. I
forward to it.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Real
very much.
quick, what do you teach? 'Cause
Right now, I'm a physical education instructor.
Okay, there you go. We need those too. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
all right, Coach Thomason, come on down.
That's a football coach saying PE.
Fresh cut. Did you go out today and get a haircut?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Had to look good for the show. That's good. I like
Everybody,
I ran out the only chance I had to get it, so yeah.
let's get a round of applause for Coach Lopez real quick.
defense.
And then let's hear it for Coach Thomason as we start talking about offense.
Offense.
All right, Coach. So we were running a modified veer last year. We're running less of those plays, although you all haven't scrapped them all. Talk about the offense a little bit.
Right. So, we want to be multiple with what we do, and we think that we can throw the ball around a little bit more and kind of going back to a little bit more of my roots and, spreading the ball out some. And, my big thing is rush attempts plus completions. And so that's the stat that we preach in our offense is that, the team with the most rush attempts plus completions is probably going to win the game about 90% of the time, assuming that you win the turnover battle.
Right.
So
Well, that'll throw a monkey wrench in it.
for sure.
Yeah.
So talk about what you saw on Friday from the offense, both in the running clock period and the actual timed period.
Well, just with the scrimmage, there's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. Obviously we don't want to turn the ball over, but we like scoring touchdowns. And so I think you saw a little bit of the explosiveness that this offense can have in a little bit of a different way than it was last year. So that was promising.
I liked how we threw the ball downfield several
Right.
times. I like that.
Right. So, it's just a different way to attack defenses. I like to run the ball. We like to run the ball. We think we have pretty good running backs. It's a good way to control the clock. And then,
Rest the defense.
That's right. And then, you get safeties down in the box. You got to be able to take advantage of that and throw the ball deep. So,
Yeah.
So what do you think of that offensive line? We're going to talk to one of them here in a little
yes,
while.
we are. Senior center, which is always a good thing. Since I've been here, this is the third senior center that we've had.
Pretty nice.
Yes, it is. And so, we put a lot of trust in him in the offense. And I thought he did a great job on Friday, kind of controlling everything and making every call. That's kind of the foundation right there. Experience at the guards, we got returning starters, and then we have seniors, and then a couple of juniors, pretty tall kids on the edge there playing tackles, 6'4", 6'5". So I'm really excited about the core group that we have, and then with the backs running behind them. So
Nice. Now that senior center. He matured over the last couple of years. I mean, it's amazing that last year between their junior and senior year, how much some of those guys, and I'm not talking physically, I'm
Right.
talking emotionally grow.
Right.
Talk about that experience, how you get to see that with all these kids as they grow up.
right, that's kind of the good thing. And now this going into my third season, I've kind of been with Kirby for 3 years and had him in an O-line room, and kind of seen the maturation process and how he's grown up, and kind of grooming someone along to kind of take that role. And then it's nice to see that when given the opportunity, they take it and jump right into it and fully own it.
Well, and the center has to know what everybody's doing on the offensive line. I don't know how many times, a center I knew would tell me, everybody asks me every play,
Right.
What are we doing?
I think he'd say that too, and I think there's a couple other offensive linemen here that might deny it, but it's probably true. So,
Well, it's better to be sure than to guess, right?
that's one thing we preach too. Yeah, we're going to communicate, and if there's a call, we're all running the call. So.
Now, one of the things sometimes you have a little bit of control over it, but at other times it just seems to happen, and it's happened to us over the last couple of years. It's turnovers. Talk about what we're doing with turnovers. Not necessarily interceptions, but really maintaining possession of the ball, hanging on to the ball in traffic and things like that.
Right. So, the first thing is you got to preach ball security, and that's, something that we do every day. We work on it, holding the ball. And, if there's a turnover at practice, then, there's got to be something that, lets them know the emphasis of, the importance of turning the ball over. So I think we've been pretty good, leading up into the season with turnovers. So there's only been a few times the football's been on the ground. I can't even remember the last time at practice. So
I like to hear that.
That's good. I like to hear that too. Yeah.
So just keep stressing it and stress the importance of it, and that goes back to our philosophy of, rush tips, completions, and no turnovers.
Well, and a lot of times, as the game wears on, kids will get tired and they kind of lose a little bit of their fundamental aspects of whatever they're doing position-wise. And it'll cause problems. Talk about how y'all keep them focused in the heat and at practice and during games.
Right. I think that's exactly how you do it. Is you practice it, and so we go up tempo. We have a couple guys that are going both ways, and we are getting tired. And you can ask Curry when he comes up here when it's play 12 of team session, play 13, and we might be on a 12-13 play drive a couple times. It's important that the snap's not rolled back there. You do have to focus, and you got to lock in even more when you get tired and kind of, have that mentality of finishing what we started.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to get to the sideline after that drive. I've been in long drives like that. It is not fun to be an offensive lineman on a 12-play drive. Right. It gets tiring.
Yeah. What are some of the takeaways that you've got over the last couple seasons? Kind of how you've morphed this year's offense from what you've learned from the teams you faced in the district in the past couple years.
So, we kind of go into every season and, what's the personnel that we have, what's kind of the best fit for how we're going to, be able to have success on offense, and then go from there. And so, last year was a good experience, and we got out there and, tried to run the ball some and shorten the game. And I think we can do the same thing this year, running multiple sets and controlling the ball with the run game, and then still attacking holes in the defense throughout the passing
Mix
game.
it up a little bit more, yeah.
Well, I know in the past couple of years, a lot of times our defense would get pretty tired. We go against a lot of high-powered offenses.
There's a lot of offense in the district.
Right.
There is. There's good teams.
A lot of good athletes, a lot of good D1 athletes we're going to be facing defensively. But you're on offense, and so the point being, obviously, the more we possess the ball, the less time they have with it that they can wear our defense down or give those D1 prospect kids a chance to make explosive plays. So, all right. Well, do you have anything special that we can look for on Thursday? I don't want you to mention it. Just say
we may have held a couple cards, in our pockets, but
you're not going to bust those out week one, probably.
So, I feel good where we're at. The kids feel confident. I think we've got a good grasp on the offense, and it's really, in our room, it's execution, and it's on us. If we go out there and execute, then, it's going to be hard to stop us.
Well, if you can get the ball 10, 15 yards beyond midfield, you've got a chance to score with our kicker, right?
That's true, too. That's a good luxury to have, for sure.
It's a nice weapon. So, Coach, go get them.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Looking
Thank you,
forward
fellas.
to it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, we'll bring up we'll talk to Kirby first since he's right there, and then we'll talk to Evan Smith last. Kirby. Have a seat, son.
Got the son call. Okay.
No, I've known him for a long time. His mom and my wife, they were crossing guards together. So.
Oh.
So I would see him. I've seen him for many years. So how's it feel now, senior? You're in the big group, leading the team. Talk about that a little bit. Talk about your role as an offensive lineman.
It's a kind of like a privilege, because like I get to like be a leader at one point in my life, But like just leading the team, leading the offensive line, it's a good thing to do. It's an important thing to have on the offensive line, and just to be a great leader and all, and just have fun with it, man. It's the last year, last ride. It's gonna be a good one.
Well, and I always say this, year in, year out, it's my favorite position group by far. It is, in my opinion, the most important position group on the field, because if you don't get your blocks, then you don't move the ball, and then the defense is on the field too much, and they're tired, and the game's lost.
That's how it is, yeah.
So, that's pretty important. How are you going to keep your guys in line with pre-snap, false starts and little hesitations, because everybody's going to be all butterflied up going into Thursday night,
I usually make it a competition out there, like who can get off the ball faster. Like we usually in the team room after film session, we meet with our O-line, one of our O-line coaches, Coach King. We like test them all. We'll like test each other, like call a random person, and like they have to like know their assignment, know all the rest of the people's assignments and all that. Just try to make it a competition out there.
So you're holding them accountable is what you're doing. That's nice, because if someone is they expect that someone's going to hold them accountable, they generally are accountable, right? They take care of their business because they know somebody's going to question that. And so that's a good approach. What do you think of your group of offensive linemen?
I like
as a whole.
Yeah, they're good teammates. We got some decent sized dudes out there, especially the tackles. They're pretty lengthy out there. It's good to have. And our guards, they're really strong. They're seniors. They have experience. They're returning varsity players last year.
Right.
And it's just good to have them.
So do you have any depth? Are you worried about your depth there?
No. We got some pretty promising depth that we have, if just in case any of us gets hurt, which is.
There's some young guys that aren't even up yet, right?
Yeah.
Some big kids on that JV team.
There's a lot of big kids coming up, especially like one of them's Conte. He's a pretty big dude. I like his size.
Do you spend time focusing with those younger guys, bringing them along? So that they're
I got coached by Coach Martin. I talked to him. I try to help out the center that's trying to get play on varsity. I try to talk to him, and to help him figure out his plays as a varsity, because it's different. They kind of name it differently on JV and varsity.
Right.
So I try to help him out on that. And all the younger guys, I try to give them as much reps as they can on varsity as live,
Well, you know from experience. I mean, you were that younger guy a couple of years ago, and you might have had guys that helped you along. It's important, and especially in a position like offensive line where there's very little gratitude for what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, as I said, I think it's the most important position, but it's rarely the most celebrated.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Who was in the when you were coming up? Who was that guy for you that really laid the law for you and helped you and guided you to be who you are today?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. My sophomore year is what I think had the most potential. Best O-lineman, biggest O-lineman that we ever had. At least all of them are at least 280 and above. It was your son, Jeremy Kracy, Josh Long, Dillard, a whole bunch of guys that a whole bunch of guys I looked up to and just wanted to be them one day and all that. And now it's happening.
And what are one of the takeaways that you have from one of those moments with one of those guys?
Just one of them is like in the weight room, how much energy they brought to the team. Just a whole bunch of they were all big and strong, always yelling and bringing all the energy out of them and all that.
Well, and it's really important to be vocal. It's really easy to kind of become complacent in the weight room and count to 10, but you really only counting 8 reps. You need people to hold you accountable. A lot of players do, and so that's where your senior leadership comes in, and you go and you make sure that everybody's doing what they're expected to do.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about some more personal things, okay, and not so much football things. Do you work?
Yes, I do work. I work at a QT Quick Trip.
Okay, so you're at the corner there at New Hope and
no,
or a different location.
They moved me down in Leander off 183 all the way. It's about a 15-minute drive from here.
I haven't been to that one
I
yet.
haven't
Is
either.
it a new one also?
Yeah, it's pretty new. It's maybe about a month old. It's, they built it next to a new wash and roll.
Are you managing the place already?
Yeah, they're building like 3 new places already. It's
Everybody
crazy.
loves the QT.
Right. Well, hey, it's going to end up taking over 7-Eleven if
Oh, yeah.
7-Eleven's not
Yeah,
careful.
sure.
So. Okay. Well, all right. So, what are your favorite classes in high school? Who's your favorite teacher? What's your favorite subject?
My favorite teacher this year would probably be Coach Dixon. I mean, it's always having fun to have a coach that is one
What
of
does
your
he
teachers.
teach?
He teaches economics.
Oh, so it's not an easy class.
It's has its difficulty to it, and
You know you're not required to pick a coach, right?
Oh, it's okay. He's the only coach I have as a teacher, so I have no choice. But yeah, he brings sometimes he brings the football to the classroom. You know, it's a good thing to have him, and it's just fun because I already know him. I already know him at a personal level.
Does he
And-
teach with the same kind of passion he coaches with?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
cool.
economics is pretty boring. It's hard to get excited over that. Okay, tell us about your college plans. I mean, or your after high school plans. Not everybody goes to college. I mean, some people go into trades. So, what is your goal?
I first planned on trying to see if I can get a scholarship somewhere to play football in college, and but kind of my concussions got in the way of that. I've already gotten 3 in the past 2 years. It's not been a fun ride for that.
No.
So I plan on now going to some type of military branch, whichever one is the best fit for me, and just getting my college provided by that.
Yeah, we had one of the I think he was the most valuable player on the team last season.
Yeah.
Riley Wells. He joined.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
joined the
So-
service.
Commendable.
Yeah, it'd be somebody if you wanted to
Move.
talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sure Riley would tell you plenty. You might not want to hear all of it,
Yeah.
but okay. So if somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, think about playing college ball," would you think about it? Or?
I would, yeah, of course, I would probably think about it. You know, I love playing football. I've been playing it for a very long time now, and it's just.
That's the
It's like-
thing that a lot of guys don't realize, especially you seniors. This season, we're just getting started with this season. It's going to be over. You're going to blink, and it's going to be over.
Yeah.
So, and I'll say this to every senior every year: live in the moment and enjoy those times with your teammates, with your coaches. Even when Coach Thompson's chewing you out for breaking down an assignment, just in that moment, think for a second and be like, I'm going to remember this moment later because he cared enough to yell at me because he knew I could do it right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's important. It's been 30 years since either one of us put on pads, and we still miss it.
Yeah.
So,
And we still remember those things the coaches told us.
Yeah.
And it sticks with you for
Yeah,
life.
It does.
and I always like to say you keep a little bit of football in your life when
Yeah.
you're out of here, whether it's just as a fan, whether you coach your kid in youth ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep football around. So
Yeah.
appreciate it, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Good luck on Thursday. All
Thank you,
right,
man.
Good
We'll
luck.
talk to
Looking forward to it.
the
Yeah.
next senior. What's he doing? Evan Smith, come on down. Wow, that was a
Can we get a
kind
slow
of a
clap?
muted
slow clap for him or
reaction
something?
there.
We paid him.
Go ahead and put your headset on there, Evan.
Oh, I feel like a coach.
Well, you probably feel a little bit like a coach sometimes out on the field, too, as a senior. We've been talking about that. You kind of have to get in the ear of some of the younger guys and show them where they're doing wrong. Talk about what it's like to be a senior, because just 2 years ago you were that sophomore and you were dealing with his kid
Hensley,
at linebacker. And so talk about that, how it feels now to be in that role when you were previously in the other.
Oh, it feels great. I've been, ever since my sophomore year playing with Alex, I've always wanted to be that leader he was. And so now I'm there, and I just want to do everything he did and even better than he did.
Yeah, that's pretty tall order. He was a pretty good player, but I think you can. He's certainly made a lot of tackles every year, and you did too as well last year. Talk about the role of a linebacker and how you've got to read, react, flow. I mean, it's not a really easy position to play.
No, because we're the only players that play run and pass. You got to play fast, and then you also have to be the leader. You always hear the linebackers are the leader. So
Yeah, it's like the quarterback on defense.
Yeah.
They always say that, but really the middle linebacker is more so. So what is your relationship with Coach Lopez and Coach Price, and do you feel like you're an extension of them? Talk about that.
yeah, when I first got here, I've had meetings with Coach Price all the time. We've become really close, and now I'm just starting to get Coach Lopez. I'm starting to get to know him better. I really like him, and I really like the things we're doing. I think, like especially Coach Price, we're really close now, and we stay in touch, and we keep tabs on each other.
Well, you play with a lot of emotion. You always have since you were like 5 years old. I mean, I've known you for a long time.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, but at times that emotion can be a problem, right? And in a scrimmage on Friday, there was a moment, and to me, it was really I was super impressed with the reaction after the moment when Coach Price walked out. And I'm not just going to leave it there. He walked out. I don't know what he said to you. He said something to you, but you played as well from that point on as you were before or better. And in years past, sometimes you get frustrated like that, and sometimes it could affect your abilities, right?
Yeah.
If you spend too much time focusing on something, then you end up costing yourself a couple
Exactly.
plays later. To me, that's the sign of the maturity that you're experiencing as a football player. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Like you just pointed it out to me. I really did. It reacted a lot different than I have in the past years, and I have matured a lot, as it seems. Because I did. He got on to me.
Right.
Went on the sideline, was mad, took a breath, got back out there, and just slowed everything down again.
Right. And you understand that passion is it's vital to help you play at the level that you play at. It's part of your personality, but you got to temper it sometimes, right? And
Yes,
it's not
sir.
that easy. But like I said, the reaction you had was night and day than in past years in those situations.
Yes,
and
sir.
so I was really impressed. And I look forward to what you do throughout the season leading your defense here. And so talk about your crew, your defensive crew, because you got some young guys in the secondary. You got some young guys on the line. Pretty much the age is going to be there in the middle at linebacker.
linebacker.
So let's start off with the linebackers. Talk about your linebacker crew.
Well, I mean, Dyron, y'all know Dyron. He's been there, and I really trust that guy. And then who's really shown out to me is Major. He's playing the Mike in the middle. Usually I play Mike, but now we're in a 3-3. So I'm playing the outside stack, and Major's playing the middle guy.
You're a little bit faster, though. So.
Yeah.
Major's pretty fast.
Yeah, but he's really shown out to me what he can do. Like, at first I was a little iffy on him. Because, I mean, I've always been there with Dyron, and I trust him. And then here comes Major, and he's in the middle. I'm like, oh, okay. And but I just think he can do it. He can handle it. He can handle it
he's
very
a good
well.
athlete.
Yeah,
He
he
is.
is.
So you do have a couple of young guys, but then you got yourself. Who are the other linebackers that are seniors?
Benugli, but he's going to play a little
Benugli?
more D-line this year, too.
He'll flip back and forth, I bet.
We have a new guy named Nana. He's pretty solid athlete, too. And those are the two seniors, yeah.
Okay, so you do have some depth at both the senior
Yes.
class and younger. So talk about your secondary. You've got a couple of decent corners and some safeties. You don't have to name them individually, but talk about your role in the pass coverage and how they help you or hinder your.
Well, they literally do help me because I drop 10 yards, whatever, and they're behind me, right behind me, seeing the guy. Like, if Evan doesn't get there, I'm going to be there for me. So I really put trust, and especially guys like Ray, really trust that guy. He's always been there for me, and Xavier Terry, too.
Yeah, those guys are pretty fast too. So, okay. Well, what about your D line? We know every secondary is only as good as its D line. The
Yeah.
pressure that can be applied by the D line.
And our
So-
D-line has grown up over the years. We have Wakama out there, your son, Kracy, over there. And then really shown out to me is Jacob Benugli. He played a little bit in the scrimmage on the D-line, and I was very impressed with what he did.
He impressed me in the spring game, and then he impressed me again
yeah.
in this scrimmage.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a real big contributor for us. So do you have any young guys that stand out to you that may be new to the varsity? You know, that when I say young guy, they could be a junior if it's their first year on varsity. Somebody who's really going to stand out, who we can look for.
Jalen Jammer, he's the other corner. Yes, sir.
That's
I think,
a good corner name.
Yeah,
That's a
he's
good
pretty,
football
he's pretty
name.
scrappy too. It showed me. Yeah.
He's not related to Quentin Jammer, is he? That'd be nice.
He is.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Has to be. How many other jammers you know?
I don't know. That's nice, though.
That is good.
He had a
That's
long NFL career,
Good
too.
schooling right there. Yeah.
So, okay, well, you know, it's your senior year. You taking a lot of hard classes?
Yes, sir. I am.
Because, I mean, I know you're way up high in the rank and you want to stay up there,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So you looking for that Scully or
I'm trying to. Yes, sir. Trying to get an A&M too.
to A&M, just looking for academic scholarship? You going to walk on or just –
I mean, if the
hey, they always need a
opportunity
12th man. It's their tradition there.
That's
so.
true. I mean, if the opportunity comes, then yeah.
So you're going to definitely consider that if a college comes calling?
Yes, sir. Especially if the money comes.
Right. Well, a lot of the smaller schools, it's the academics that they give the money for, and you're there.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you know, just, you know, maybe Southwestern will give you a call or something. You never know. So, awesome. Well, good luck on Thursday, Evan.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
all.
appreciate
Appreciate you
forward to
coming
it.
up here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right.
We're going to actually bring Kirby up here. We're going to have a quick contest, and then we'll wrap it up and let y'all go home.
All right.
Quick
We're
contest.
We're going to have a quick contest.
Is there another chair?
We're going to borrow this from you right
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
You can go ahead and sit over here in the young guy seat. Might want to pick that up for him. I don't know. He can handle it. All right, so we got a little game put together here called the Price is Right. Y'all can just guess where that stemmed from. We're gonna do it pretty simple. We're only gonna do four of these pictures. So the idea of the game is to guess the price. So I'm gonna show you some pictures, give you a little description about it, and you're gonna write down the price. The person with the best answers will win the game, and we'll give you a prize. I don't know, maybe a free chicken tender or something. So y'all can't cheat. Cheaters are losers. All right, here we go. So, here's your first picture. You've got a Wilson NCAA MVP football. Huh? Everybody knows the price of one of those, don't you?
Is that a peewee football?
That is a NCAA
No, it says peewee size.
MVP. Don't look at the picture. Listen to the description. Oh, we got help out here, but we don't need your help because they know everything. We got the leader of the offensive line, the leader of the defense over here. They're good. They don't need your help.
I mean, it does say Pee-wee size, so that's
Just go with
really
the NCAA MVP football.
MVP. Okay.
MVP. I don't know how important that is, but it says it is. You got it? Okay. Y'all ready? Okay, we're going to go to the next one. Okay, so then we've got Stride Peppermint 14-count 10-pack gum. Okay, obviously I didn't put that together. This is somebody who obviously shops at Costco. You may have the answer to that. You go shopping with your parents.
Oh, I didn't look at it.
10-pack. We got
From
10-pack.
Costco, though.
14-count 10-pack. Stride Peppermint. You good? You got it?
Wait,
You got it? Okay. And then we've got a stadium armchair. You guys don't use these yet, but we do. Stadium armchair.
Man.
And then this is something y'all might be familiar with, maybe ordered a little bit differently, but we've got a number one Whataburger with no cheese. Keep in mind, no cheese, with medium fries and a medium drink. Number one Whataburger, no cheese, with medium fries and a medium drink.
Oh, you said medium?
It was the
Oh.
patty melt. I would know.
And this is no tax, by the way, guys. No tax. Don't start adding tax to your equation. All right. We're good? Okay, so now we're going to reveal the prices. Okay, so for the Wilson NCAA MVP football, Evan, what do you have? $50.
Put the MVP on.
$50 because he heard MVP. $25. Okay, the answer is $14.99. Neither one of you get it.
Man.
All right, then we've got the Stride Peppermint 14-count 10-pack gum. Wow. Okay. Evan has $2, and you've got $8.99. Okay. Obviously, somebody's got a little bit better concept of
How much was it?
of what. So go ahead and put a little check mark there by your.
I got it right.
It was $12.35.
Oh.
$12.35. So you get a mark if you're under. That doesn't mean you put $1. I'm just saying we won't count that either. The stadium armchair. What do you have? $25. Not a bad guess. You?
$45.
$45. All right. $29.99. There you go. 1 and 1. We might have to do a tiebreaker here.
Cheap.
Okay. To really know where you guys' heads is, what's the number one combo cost?
$7.50.
$7.50.
I'm going $10.
$10. See, he's used to asking his mom for $10, and that's it. He's $6.49. We have a winner. Evan Smith's the winner. He gets the first prize.
That's cheap. Oh, man.
That's
You said Whataburger, right?
That's why you get the no cheese.
No, they
and
charge
you
you
get the
extra.
medium. So you can't get the large. So you're thinking large and cheese and all that, and double number 2. So you don't usually order that probably. You're an offensive lineman. There you go. There you
I
go.
need an extra one.
Not bad, not bad. All right. So that's the podcast for tonight, and we want to thank the Bush's Chicken for letting us come here and tear their place up. We want to thank all the Leander coaches and staff that put this together, along with the Leander Booster Club. Obviously, we want to thank the seniors for coming in here. We expect you guys to win lots of games and make lots of big plays. No problem, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all next Monday, and you guys come and see the game.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.